Critical Retention Zone narrator. What happens when you try to exterminate humanity and fail? When the last survivors of Earth spend 217 years becoming something the galaxy has never seen before? This is the story of how Earth's children came home, and why the Vorex Dominion learned that fire spreads. Buckle up, this one gets dark. Part 1. The Day Earth Screamed. Narrator. Earth didn't die with heroes on burning beaches or flags in brave hands. Earth died in spreadsheets, in cold mathematics, in the clinical precision of orbital bombardment, calculated down to the kilogram of plasma needed per square kilometer of surface. The Vorex Dominion had been watching us for 37 years, ever since our first warp signature lit up their sensors like a flare in cosmic darkness. They catalogued us, studied us, ran probability matrices on our expansion patterns, our resource consumption, our tendency toward conflict. The algorithm was elegant. 97.3% probability that humanity would become a galactic-level threat within 500 years. Solution: preventive extermination. Dr. Sarah Chen was calibrating the Johannesburg Deep Space Array when the sky caught fire. She had 43 seconds to activate the emergency beacon network before plasma rain turned the facility into glass. 43 seconds to scream across space. "They're here! Exodus protocol now!" She spent 20 seconds typing coordinates. 15 routing power to the transmission array. 8 seconds watching the sky burn. Of 9 massive colony ships, each carrying 1 million souls, only 5 escaped the system. 1 exploded during launch. 2 were caught by Vorex interceptors. 1 vanished into a collapsing wormhole. And the last ship, the Ardent Flame, watched Earth become a marble of fire as it burned hard for the galactic rim. Captain Anya Sol stood on the bridge as their world died behind them. He was supposed to give a speech about hope, about survival, about the human spirit. Instead, he said, "Set course for the Helios expanse, and may God forgive us for what we're about to become." The flame disappeared into the black between stars. For 217 years, the galaxy forgot about humanity, but humanity didn't forget about the galaxy. Part 2. Children of the Burn. Narrator. The Helios expanse was a graveyard of stars, the perfect place to hide, and to evolve into something terrifying. The first generation were called the Drifters, the second, the Voidborn. But it was the third generation that changed everything. The ones who called themselves the Children of the Burn. Anya Sol, Anya's mother, was born during the Great Silence when the ship's reactor went critical and they drifted powerless for 6 months. She grew up in darkness, learning to navigate by touch, to repair systems by sound alone. When power returned, Maya had developed something unprecedented, the ability to interface directly with the ship's neural network through haptic feedback. She could feel the flame's systems like extensions of her own body. An entire generation had adapted to their environment in impossible ways. They called it ship sense, knowing when systems would fail hours before diagnostics caught it, navigating blindfolded, feeling threats through the hull itself. The Children of the Burn wore their history on their skin. Black jumpsuits for the ash of Earth, red trim for the fire that would return. And on their left shoulder, always a small patch, a blue marble wreathed in flames. Earth burning. Earth remembered. Every child learned the litany of return. We are the last flame of the first fire. We burn for those who cannot burn. We remember what they chose to forget, and we will return to light the stars. Combat training became ritual. Children as young as 6 practiced the void dance, martial arts for zero gravity. They weren't learning to fight, they were learning to kill. Dr. James Crawford documented their transformation. Year 2003. I no longer recognize them as human in the old sense. There's something new, something harder. When they look at the stars, I see hunger. Year 217. A Vorex scout ship appeared on our sensors. For the first time in over 2 centuries, we are not alone. I am terrified, but not for us, for them. Part 3. The hunt begins. Narrator. Lieutenant Commander Anya Sol was 32, sharp-eyed, and born during a solar storm that knocked out half the ship's electronics. When the Vorex contact appeared on sensors, she was ready. Unknown vessel, bearing 127 Mark 31. Configuration, analyzing. Shit. It's Vorex. For 217 years, this moment had been hypothetical. Now it was here. The flame didn't run. For 6 hours, they shadowed the scout ship like a predator, learning patrol patterns, scanning hull configurations, recording communications. The Vorex ship was beautiful, half-grown rather than built, with bioluminescent panels pulsing like a heartbeat. It was also completely unaware it was being hunted. "Captain," Anya said with a predator's smile, "it knows we're here. Sooner or later, it'll pick up our thermal signature." Recommendations? We take it. The assault lasted 97 seconds. Kinetic harpoons, simple iron spikes accelerated to 0.3 C, punched through the scout ship's hull like paper. But they were careful not to destroy it. Boarding pods launched. The first humans in over 2 centuries stepped onto a Vorex vessel. The pilot was a neurocaster, a jellyfish computer hybrid with translucent skin revealing neural networks underneath. When Anya found it, the creature was still transmitting, still recording. "Hello," she said in perfect galactic. "My name is Anya Sol. I represent the last survivors of Earth." The creature's bioluminescent response couldn't be translated, but Anya didn't need translation. She could see the fear. "Good. You should be afraid." Part 4. The Reforging Narrator. The captured scout ship revealed something crucial. The Vorex thought like a hive mind. Excellent at coordination and long-term planning, but they couldn't improvise. They wargamed scenarios centuries in advance, but couldn't adapt to true chaos. "How chaotic can we be?" Anya asked. That question sparked the reforging. In 18 months, the ardent flame transformed from colony ship to something the galaxy had never seen. A human warship. Mining lasers became plasma cannons. Cargo bays became fighter hangars. Even hydroponic gardens were weaponized. Plants genetically modified to produce explosives. The void dance became lethal. Monomolecular filament whips that sliced through bioarmor. Kinetic grenades using artificial gravity. And most terrifying, screamers, sonic weapons exploiting Vorex auditory processing to induce neural overload. Using captured neural networks, Anya built the Chaos Engine, a simulation system finding patterns of unpredictability. Battle plans that made no logical sense but worked precisely because they were illogical. When the reforging was complete, Captain Vasquez addressed 23,000 people, children who'd never seen sky, adults who remembered Earth only as stories, elders carrying a dead world's weight. "We are no longer refugees. We are the last ember of Earth's fire. And we're going home." The cheer could be heard through the hull. Part 5. The Shadow War. Narrator. The war began in silence. 20 ships slipped through Vorex space like ghosts, each designed for specific roles: stealth, assault, reconnaissance, psychological warfare. Their first target, a mining station in the Kethvar system. The attack came from every direction simultaneously. Fighters swarmed with tactics so erratic that targeting systems couldn't achieve lock-on. One pilot rammed her fighter into a cruiser's sensor array rather than fire missiles. The impact did more damage than conventional weapons, but the real terror came from boarding actions. Human fighters moved through stations like predators. They didn't just destroy, they confused. Survivors reported impossible things. Humans moving like liquid in vacuum. Weapons bending sound into violence. Warriors who laughed as they killed. Message delivery. They left a message on all Vorex frequencies. "This is Commander Anya Sol of Earth. We're back, and we're just getting started." For months, raids continued. Supply convoys vanished. Outposts went dark. But the real warfare was psychological. Every attack included Earth music played at frequencies interfering with Vorex neural patterns. Classical symphonies became sonic weapons. Jazz drove their algorithms into feedback loops. Children's lullabies from a dead world made the Vorex flee rather than listen. Humans left pieces of Earth artifacts, concrete fragments, tree leaves, photographs of stolen skies. Each carried a message. We remember. A captured Vorex admiral's report revealed their desperation. Human combat doctrine appears based on systematic irrationality. They sacrifice advantage for psychological impact. They fight as if defeat is impossible, as if death is merely another weapon. I fear we may have awakened something we cannot understand. Part 6. The Battle of Charon's Rift. Narrator. Charon's Rift was a wound in space itself. Twisted gravitational anomalies where two black holes had nearly collided. It was also the gateway to Dominion core systems. For 1,000 years, the rift had been defended by 200 ships and the massive fortress station Prime Thought Form. Anya arrived with 20 ships. The battle began with a chaos drop. Every ship approaching from different vectors, speeds, broadcasting different signals. Some came fast and hot. Others drifted slowly, pretending to be debris. A few actually hid inside hollowed asteroids. Human fighters dove through Vorex formations like schools of fish, never where targeting systems expected. The flame used gravitational anomalies as slingshots, appearing from impossible angles. Every human ship broadcast audio on random frequencies, Bach to death metal to folk songs. The cacophony overloaded Vorex communications and drove bioneural networks into chaos. Worse, the music was beautiful. Some Vorex stopped fighting to listen. Maria Santos led Ember Wing in attack patterns defying physics, using spatial distortions to appear in multiple locations simultaneously. Throughout it all, Anya's voice echoed, "You burned our world! You scattered our children! You thought we were insects, but we are fire! And fire spreads!" When the last battle cruiser fell, the Prime Thought Form stood alone. 5 kilometers of biomechanical cathedral surrounded by wreckage. Anya could have bombarded it from range, could have sent fighters, could have waited for reinforcements. Instead, she did something no sane commander would do. She boarded it, alone. Part 7. The Heart of Darkness. Narrator. The Prime Thought Form was alive. Corridors pulsing with bioluminescent vessels. Walls breathing. Neural pathways calculating millions of variables every second. Anya moved through it like cancer, wearing captured stealth armor and carrying a neural dampener designed to interfere with Vorex collective consciousness. The ship tried to read her, predict her movements. But human minds weren't like Vorex minds. Where they were ordered, she was chaos. Where they planned, she improvised. At the ship's heart lay the central thought core, a living computer coordinating Dominion strategy across thousands of systems. Beautiful and terrible, a cathedral of consciousness pulsing with an entire civilization's thoughts. Anya placed her hand on its surface and felt billions of minds flow through her, all thinking in perfect harmony, all convinced of their righteousness, all certain humanity's extermination had been necessary, all wrong. My name is Anya Sol. I am the granddaughter of Captain Marcus Sol, daughter of Maya Sol, child of a world you murdered. I am the last ember of Earth's fire. From her pack, a solar fold implosion charge powered by a fragment of Earth's own star, preserved for over 2 centuries. You thought we were a statistical anomaly, a threat to be eliminated, but you never understood what we really were. We were hope. We were chaos. We were the possibility that the universe could be more than your perfect, orderly, lifeless garden. The charge activated. Space began folding. This is for Earth, for the children you orphaned, for the future you tried to steal. All ships, this is Anya Sol. Time to light the stars. She spoke directly to the thought core. Remember us. Remember what happens when you try to extinguish fire. The star folded, the fortress died, and across the galaxy, every Vorex felt the moment when their perfect order met human chaos and learned which force was stronger. The last flame of Earth had become an inferno, and the stars would never be safe again.